With benchmark 30-year fixed mortgage rates holding stubbornly above 6.5% and core inflation printing at nearly 2.6%, the traditional American real estate market has officially entered a systemic operational freeze. Retail buyers are locked out by inflated monthly debt service, while legacy commercial lenders sit on trillions in impaired paper. But elite solopreneurs aren't looking for housing relief, they are deploying an autonomous perimeter. The core vulnerability of the conventional financial architecture is its dependency on centralized debt. When you finance property through legacy banking channels, you expose your enterprise to arbitrary rate adjustments, invasive underwriting scrutiny, and structural inflation leaks that drain up to 30% of your asset yield over a standard amortization cycle. To insulate your digital revenue streams and hard assets against macroeconomic volatility, you must decouple from traditional intermediaries. Welcome to the construction of the autonomous perimeter, a self-sustaining, cryptographic framework designed to acquire and manage high-value assets entirely through decentralized logic and smart contract automation. The foundational layer of this perimeter relies on eliminating counterparty risk. When your liquid capital sits in commercial banking accounts, it is subject to silent devaluation via monetary expansion and discretionary liquidity freezes. By migrating treasury reserves into multi-signature smart contract treasuries, your purchasing power remains entirely protected by cryptographic scarcity. Asset acquisition within the autonomous perimeter operates entirely peer-to-peer. Instead of submitting tax returns and corporate balance sheets to institutional loan committees, operators utilize decentralized lending protocols backed by over-collateralized digital assets, executing flash liquidity injections with zero paperwork and instant finality. Inflationary shocks destroy standard real estate equity because traditional property owners are forced to absorb rising maintenance costs and variable debt servicing. Within our architectural model, physical and digital assets are tied directly to automated yield engines that dynamically adjust cash flows based on real-time consumer price index and treasury yield updates. Automation is what separates the modern solopreneur from the exhausted traditional landlord. By embedding programmatic webhooks and autonomous AI execution agents into your asset management stack, rent collection, tax allocation, and portfolio rebalancing happen on an ongoing loop without human intervention or administrative drag. Geographic jurisdiction represents another critical vector of systemic vulnerability. Traditional real estate is pinned to local municipal policies and heavy local property taxes. The autonomous perimeter utilizes multi-jurisdictional asset holding structures, ensuring your capital can route instantly across decentralized nodes to optimize tax velocity and legal protection. Every legacy middleman, from title insurance agencies to escrow officers and mortgage brokers, extracts a permanent toll on your wealth generation. By replacing legal bureaucracy with immutable code, your net margin retention on asset yields expands past 85%, transforming low-margin conventional investments into hyper-efficient cash flow generators. We have mapped out the core vulnerabilities of the legacy banking grid and established the initial logic of the autonomous perimeter. But securing your treasury is only the first phase. In the next block, we will deploy the exact smart contract toolstack required to operationalize your defense. Stand by for part 2. To execute advanced asset protection without triggering legacy compliance flags, your software infrastructure must be completely modular. High-ticket solopreneurs deploy development environments like Hardhat and Foundry combined with Chainlink decentralized Oracle feeds to maintain absolute integrity over collateral valuations and asset health metrics in real time. Traditional loan underwriting relies on human bias, weeks of paperwork, and centralized credit bureaus. Within the autonomous perimeter, cryptographic proof replaces institutional trust. Zero-knowledge proofs and automated cryptographic auditing verify your financial solvency instantly while maintaining absolute privacy from corporate surveillance databases. Let us analyze the math of structural capital efficiency. When you eliminate property management bloat, title insurance monopolies, and commercial lending spreads, your cash-on-cash return multiples expand exponentially. While retail investors fight for a 3% net yield after inflation, a sovereign operator locks in operating margins exceeding 80%. Counterparty risk is the silent killer of generational wealth. Holding your capital inside institutions that can arbitrarily freeze funds or alter lending criteria during a market crash is an unacceptable hazard. Moving your assets to self-custodied cryptographic ledgers ensures that you retain absolute control over your private keys and your economic destiny. Beyond static holding, your real estate and digital equities can be plugged directly into automated DeFi yield markets. Your collateral is never idle, it continuously compounds returns across decentralized liquidity pools, generating passive cash flow streams that self-fund your next enterprise expansion without tenant friction. Geographic immobility is a severe structural flaw of traditional brick-and-mortar assets. If local tax policies or regulatory frameworks shift unfavorably, you cannot pick up a physical building and move it. Tokenized real-world assets within an autonomous perimeter offer cross-border portability, allowing you to restructure your holdings globally in minutes. Central bank monetary expansion relentlessly destroys the purchasing power of fiat currency, punishing savers and rewarding indebted states. Hard assets anchored to decentralized cryptographic rails provide absolute inflation immunity. Your capital is permanently secured against currency debasement by mathematical scarcity and real-world utility. Implementing this infrastructure fundamentally transforms your daily operations. You stop functioning as an overworked manager dealing with bureaucratic red tape and tenant disputes. Instead, you ascend to the role of system architect, optimizing protocols and compounding wealth while your automated stack handles execution. We have successfully mapped the transition from retail market paralysis to full sovereign asset control. You understand the architecture, the tooling, and the mechanics of the autonomous perimeter. But maximizing this framework requires our final operational sequence and master toolstack deployment. In the final block of this masterclass, we will assemble the complete software ecosystem, reveal the 12-month compounding math, and deliver the definitive closing action plan. Stand by for Part 3 as we finalize your permanent escape from the legacy financial matrix. To operationalize the autonomous perimeter, you do not require a massive legal team or a traditional banking portfolio. You only need a precision-engineered technology stack. Hardhat and Foundry manage your smart contract compilation, Chainlink provides decentralized Oracle price feeds, and multi-signature vaults execute self-custody security on an unyielding loop. Examine the 12-month compounding projection of a sovereign treasury. While retail investors remain trapped by 6% mortgage barriers and inflated administrative overhead, solopreneurs utilizing decentralized liquidity scale their asset base with near zero friction. Your capital compounds exponentially, dramatically accelerating your timeline to financial sovereignty. The legacy banking structure is mathematically obsolete. Trading your finite time and energy for a heavily taxed, centralized asset bound by traditional credit constraints is a high-risk gamble. True economic security belongs exclusively to the system architect who owns the underlying code and the direct cryptographic deed. Remember the ultimate objective of this architecture: reclaiming your time. Capital is merely stored human energy. By replacing bureaucratic middlemen with automated smart contracts, you remove administrative friction from your existence, securing the rarest luxury of the modern digital era: absolute personal autonomy. While traditional real estate investors remain bogged down by tenant disputes, property management headaches, and interest rate volatility, you operate with unmatched velocity. Your autonomous perimeter allows you to reallocate, scale, and optimize your asset portfolio globally within minutes, entirely bypassing legacy market gridlock. You no longer require validation from the legacy banking matrix. You do not need institutional mortgage approval to command an empire of hard assets. When your smart contracts execute autonomously in the cloud to generate secure, unassailable yield on autopilot, your on-chain ledger becomes your permanent proof of sovereignty. The blueprint for the autonomous perimeter has been completely revealed. You possess the structural framework, the code stack, and the cryptographic shields. The illusion of safety inside the legacy banking trap is officially broken. Subscribe to this channel, activate your notifications, And write "autonomy" in the comments below to lock in your execution matrix. We have engineered the ultimate framework for modern asset sovereignty. From exposing real estate market gridlocks and constructing bare metal equity to bypassing banking intermediaries entirely, you now hold the complete master plan to decouple your wealth from centralized manipulation permanently. Yet, as your sovereign portfolio scales and your capital channels expand, you will encounter an advanced macroeconomic landscape defined by cross-border routing rules, multi-jurisdictional residency shifts, and the evolution from a digital solopreneur into a global asset allocator. The pursuit of absolute independence never halts. To ensure your digital infrastructure remains impenetrable before the next major systemic shift occurs, you must master our foundational automation layer. Click on the video appearing on your screen right now, where we break down the exact operational scripts to scale your sovereign enterprise.